One of the biggest things that I notice that people struggle with is forgiveness. Um, Not just forgiving others, but also forgiving themselves. And having unforgiveness in you makes it hard for you to live free, a life free within your own mind. And the thing is I think we all have different ideas of what forgiveness really means. Some people think that to forgive is to say that what somebody did to you is okay, or justifying it, or give an excuse for. But unfortunately, that's not really what forgiveness is. You know what forgiveness really is? It's just a choice. Forgiveness is really just a choice. And if we don't take that choice and decide for ourselves, then we stay in prison in our own mind, and we still stay tethered to and bonded to the person that did us harm. And so, if I want to live a freed life, in a life where I'm becoming healed from whatever offense was done to me, then I need to unlock my mind by forgiving others. Now, let me tell you what forgiveness is not. Forgiveness is not excusing what happened or excusing the person's behavior, the person that did something to you. Forgiveness is not excusing their behavior. So let's make sure that we're clear with that first and foremost. Forgiveness also is not saying that you're not going to remember what happened to you. You know, what happened to you is always going to be a part of your history. So forgiveness won't mean that you're going to forget. And forgiveness doesn't mean that you won't have moments where you're triggered by something in the future. Forgiveness is, again, just a choice. Forgiveness also is not wrapped up in the way that you feel. So if you think, okay, well, I forgave them, but I'm still mad, I'm still angry. Forgiveness has nothing to do with the feeling, because how we feel is how we feel, and all of our feelings are valid. So forgiveness is not about the way that you feel. So the fourth thing that forgiveness is not saying that you have to stay close or connected to that person. It doesn't even mean that you have to reconcile with that person, right? So forgiveness is not any of that. What forgiveness is just a choice. And I want to make sure that I am clear with that, because what happens when people choose not to forgive is, again, as I said earlier, you stay tethered to and bonded with that person. So when a bank says that they forgive a debt, what they're saying is, it's costing too much money trying to collect that debt. And so they forgive the debt, but there's still a consequence to you not paying the bank back. And that could affect your credit, that could affect your ability to get other loans or whatever. But there is always going to be a consequence to not repaying a debt. But if somebody chooses to forgive the debt, they're just canceling it. They're letting go of it. And now they may choose to never work with you again, or they may never choose to trust you again, or they may set up boundaries and enforce boundaries as it relates to you as a result of the history they had with you. Now, when somebody does something to you in your past, you got to ask yourself, what did they take from you? And when you answer that question, you got to decide whether or not they have the ability or the capacity to repay you what you believe they took from you. Can they ever give back to you what they took from you? And if the answer is no, then why would you want to still stay bonded to and tethered to them while you are meditating on what they did, right? So again, will you really get back or get restored back to wherever you were before they took away something from you? More than likely, the answer is no. You're not going to justify what they did. You're not going to make an excuse for what they did. But the reality of it is they can't pay you back. And even if you say they owe me an apology, well, having an apology does not bring you back and restore you back to where you were. And it also doesn't mean that you're going to feel better if they apologize, right? So you got to decide whether or not it's even worth staying tethered to them, instead of just letting it go and canceling the debt that they owe to you, because you're not going to be restored. And there's also a thing where people don't forgive themselves for something that they've done in the past. I am one of them people that have struggled with forgiving myself for certain things that I've done in the past. And that can cause me to become depressed because I am so distraught by my behavior in the past, but yet I can't do anything to correct it or to change what happened or what I did in the past. So I too need to cancel that debt. I need to forgive myself. There are always lessons that we can learn from the choices that lead to regret, right? And so that's what I hope to gain, the lesson. So I don't repeat that same behavior as I had in the past. And I can put things into place to keep from doing that, but I need to allow myself to recognize that what was done is done and it can't be undone. We also can identify other people that were involved in the things that may have happened or in the past, because sometimes there are other people that influence behaviors that cause us to end up with regret, right? But there are other things that may have come into play that have also influenced or caused or contributed to what we did in the past. So there's a lot of things that could be involved with the behavior that we had. That's why it's important for us to realize that we can't change it, we can't undo it, but it will be helpful for healing to just allow the debt to be canceled. And one thing that we do a lot of is we meditate. We just meditate on what happened in the past. And meditating on the memory now, we have the ability to look at it differently. Look at what happened then, what influenced that behavior, what may have contributed to the choices that we made, and just, look at it differently. Then we need to just forgive ourselves and forgive others because it can't be undone. Choosing not to forgive keeps us tied to the people. It does, especially when it's offense that's been done to us. And they can't change what's already been done. Meditating on the painful memories will always create disharmony within our own spirit. And wow, that is such a miserable feeling to sit and constantly hit rewind, replay, because all that does is keep us imprisoned in our mind and makes it difficult to live a healed life. So forgiveness is a choice. We do get to make it, and we can identify whatever it was, express all the feelings associated with what happened, and then what belief that we have about it, and then allow ourselves to let it go. Cut the tether. Cut that thing that binds us to that incident, that situation, that person. Just cut it off so you can move freely in the rest of your life and live a healed life. And we need to recognize what we may have been lacking and what we may have been needing that caused us to make the choices that we made. And so thereby, working to, meet our needs. Because if the need was connection and we connected with somebody that caused us to live with regret, then we need to figure out how can we best meet the need so we don't repeat the same behaviors, or we don't allow ourselves to get into certain situations that make us more vulnerable to certain activities, right? Because we all have regrets. We all need forgiveness. We all need to forgive in order to live a free life. And there is nothing that can free you from the prison of your mind except for forgiveness. Nothing, nothing will unlock that mental prison door for you except for forgiveness. Trust me when I'm telling you. So how you feel about your offense or the offense of others that were inflicted on you may not change right away. So I may still have a feeling about it, or I may have a feeling about that person, but that may not go away right away. Choosing to forgive is just a choice. The feelings and the memories associated with it, that is a separate thing. And that's what you would work on. The feeling that you want will catch up with you when you choose to focus on something else. Because behind every feeling is a belief. And so if you believe that I was an awful person and I'm not a good person, or they were an awful person and they're not good, as long as I'm meditating on that, I'm not going to heal from it. So changing the narrative and, looking at it differently will help with the process of healing. So therefore, you will need to pray that God can change your attitude towards whoever offended you and yourself, and help you to get to a better place in your own mind and get to a place of a freed mind. Pray for a heart and a mind of compassion towards others and towards yourself. And then you can practice love. And practicing love just means that you don't bring it up again. You don't continue to bash yourself. You don't continue to have this negative self-talk or this negative mindset towards anybody else. And the Bible says that love keeps no record of wrongs. So that's not just talking about them, it's talking about you. So love don't remember the things that you do. Love will just pretend as if it never even happened. We know that we have a memory. We know that it happened to us. It's part of our history. But I can pretend that it never happened in order to live a free life. Pray for a spirit of forgiveness so you can become whole again and live a life free of pain, hurt, and trauma. Okay? Until the next time, everyone, good mental health, good spiritual health, and as always, good physical health. Y'all take great care.